Good afternoon everybody. My name is Vimal from Yellow Potter. Firstly, thank you very much to give us the opportunity to share our story thus far, and hopefully by the end of this session convince a few of you guys to join in our journey moving forward. So let me quickly jump into what we do. Basically, Yellow Potter, we're Malaysia's leading cross-border e-commerce enabler. So in layman terms, what it means is we assist our users in purchasing items from overseas e-commerce platforms and have it shipped back to their home country. Now, everybody is so used to purchasing items from localized e-commerce ecosystems like Lazada, 11th Street, Shopee. So when you purchase an item, you've got multiple last mile delivery options for the item to be sent to you. But what if you're trying to buy something from, let's say, an Amazon in the US, or Rakuten in Japan, Gmarket in Korea? Usually either face one of these three scenarios. One, limited access to overseas items or brands. What it means is you'll go to the page, go to the checkout page, key in your address, and they'll show you, sorry, we don't ship to Malaysia, we don't ship to anywhere in Southeast Asia, maybe perhaps only in Singapore. Now, secondly is high cost of cross-border shipping. Your item cost could be 100 ringgit, your shipping cost is 150 ringgit. Third is when you try to make payment for the item itself. Most of these websites overseas, they only take local payment channels, meaning that in Korea, they only take Korean payments, in US, they only take local credit cards. So that's where we come into the picture. We're a one-stop platform where Malaysians can now place their overseas purchases. How it works is, the moment they sign up on our platform, they get access to all our overseas addresses, meaning that now they can buy any items from any e-commerce platforms and have it sent to our local address. We're in US, UK, Korea, Australia, Japan, Germany, Taiwan, India. So these are our big markets. Secondly is to save on shipping fees. How it works is we charge by kg. Why we do that is because we allow customers to consolidate their purchases. So they don't need to buy one item and ship it back. They could buy 5 different items from 5 different websites, obviously within the same country, in 5 different timings. Wait for all the items to arrive and then select how fast they want to send the items back here. Third is making cross-border payments. We also got financial facilities in all the countries that we operate in, meaning that you could raise a shop for me request from us saying that, hey, I want to buy a particular item from Nike in the US, but they don't take international credit cards, they only take a US credit card. We will then be able to make these purchases on their behalf. We also have a portion of our platform where we cater to individuals who only want to buy one particular item. We've curated a list of items based on the data that we have on where customers are buying these items, how much to ship it back here. Now, why us and not nobody else? Aside the point that we're currently now the lowest in the market, we've got 2 more advantages against some of these bigger guys. Most of these guys are actually based in one particular market only. Like say my US, very obvious, they're only based in the US market, shipping items out there to all over the world. But we are actually based in Southeast Asia, looking to bring items in, and we're not only based in the US, we've got presence in UK, North Asia, Australia, and also in India. Now, why we got into cross-border shipping? Well, aside the fact that I used to like to buy items from overseas, if you're looking at the potential of the market, it's enormous. Based on the research that's done, by 2022, cross-border e-commerce will make up to about 40% of the total cross-border revenue, which comes up to about 22 billion US dollars, and that's the piece of the pie that we're currently working on. Now, some of our key milestones and tractions. 2018, close to about 500,000 ringgit worth of revenue. Our target for 2019 is about 1.05 million. Key attractions to note is by December 2018, we carried about 1,005 kgs worth of items, and by March 2019, we're close to about 5,000 registered users already. Now, where do we get our revenue from? Firstly, it's definitely from the shipping fees itself. Depending on the option which they select, whether it's the standard or the express, we make anywhere between 20-25% margins on the shipment, and for every purchases that we make on behalf, then we charge a 10% fee. Our target is to hit 10 million revenue by 2022. We're trying to get up to about 500,000 users, as well as 1,002 overseas merchants. Now, how are we going to reach those numbers? One is based on the data that we already have. What we have is what customers are buying, how much they're willing to spend, and where they're buying from. We're mining the data to come up with more predictive analysis and also customer conversion methods. Second is more automation onto our platform, API connections with overseas merchants, as well as our shipping agents. Third, data-driven merchant acquisition. Now we know where customers are buying from, which brands they're working with. Not only we're trying to bring down the shipping fee, we're also trying to bring down the item cost as well by doing a direct partnership with all these merchants. And lastly is also automate on our customer service to enhance the customer experience. What we're looking at is we're looking to raise about 950,000 ringgit for 8 million pre-money valuation. Most of it we're going to spend on our human resource side, and then 11% on marketing and the rest. A bit on the team. Myself started out management consulting background. I spent a lot of time in the local aviation industry, and then also with our fast-paced tech company here in Malaysia. The rest of my team members, these guys, I've worked with them over the last. All right, cool. This is my last slide. Yep. All right. Thank you very much.
Oh, because you got. Vimal, you don't mind, you were speaking rapid fire, so I need to go back to slide number 1.
Correct. Slide number 1.
No, I just want to understand how big is that problem statement when you say, oh, they won't accept a credit card and high shipping costs. And then thirdly, I want to ask you, who cops the storage cost? Because if I buy a 10 kilo item, which is 5 times 10 or whatever, then I said ship 5 months from now, who's going to pay for that?
Sure.
Anyway,
Okay, so how the process works is the moment they sign up, they get access to our addresses, they can make the purchases on their own. So if let's say someone has purchased one particular item, when it arrives at our warehouse in overseas, they will automatically get a notification email saying, hey, you've received this item, what are the descriptions of it as well as the weight. Now from that time, they've got 30 days to ship out the item. So after 30 days, then we charge a daily storage fee. But what we've noticed is most of our customers, they will ship out the item within 2 to 3 weeks of the items arriving. Because most of these guys want to get the items faster.
2 and 3.
So 2 and 3 basically, if you look at most of the websites, let's say Amazon, right? Amazon, you look at most of the you always face the number 1 and number 2. For example, here you're trying to buy a Kindle, right? But the first thing when you put your shipping address is Malaysia, say sorry, we don't ship to Malaysia. So that's one big problem as well. Even if you do have some shippers who are shipping it, let's say this is from a Korean website, the item cost is about 100 ringgit. The shipment cost for one item is about 80 to 90 ringgit. So what we do is, why we charge by weight is because we allow you to consolidate. So not only now we lower the cost of the shipment, we also allow you to stretch the value of your shipment fee as well.
Limited payment? How prevalent is this issue?
Actually, it's very big in Korea and Japan. 2 main reasons. Why? Sometimes people are not too sure on how to translate the website. Even though they try Google Chrome and things like that, they don't know, okay, is this where I put in my name? Is this where I put in my credit card details and all that? So that's one issue. Secondly, even if you go to some of the bigger websites in, let's say, the US and UK, they only allow for local credit cards. And why do they do this is because when we spoke to most of them, they're actually worried about fraud cases. Because if let's say they're a company based in the US, if there is a fraud issue, they've got all those departmentals in the US itself for them to go and claim back whatever fees. But if let's say someone in Malaysia is trying to buy a card and the card's faulty, they try to raise a complaint, they most probably won't be able to get it back. So that's why they actually limit the payment options, most of these overseas websites.
Thank you.
Can you go to the revenue and slide?
This one.
I'm quite surprised. How come your 2019 until March you're still lagging behind? I mean, what is? Have you understood what is the reason?
So basically, we started our fundraising round. We just started our fundraising round. So towards the early of the year, we started managing our cash flows. So what we're spending on the marketing wise, we kind of scaled down a little bit. So that has kind of affected our revenue base as well. That's one. Secondly, so what we've noticed is in the month of January, slightly before Chinese New Year, people are kind of holding back on their expenditure. They're probably waiting for the Chinese New Year period to get a new influx of cash coming in. So January was a very slow month for us, comparing to the likes of November was our best month. Cyber Monday, Black Friday, everyone went mental and crazy. Google was showing a promo where you buy one Pixel phone, your next Pixel phone is 50% off. Now, without services like us, they won't be able to get this kind of products because Google don't directly ship to Malaysia.
So if we have got issue number 3 where they don't allow you to use the Malaysian credit card, right?
I wouldn't say Malaysian credit card, but let's say a US registered credit card for US websites. Yeah.
I see. So you would only discover it when you are about to purchase, right?
Yes,
So
correct.
there's let's go to Yellow Portal.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Or you're saying, just go to Yellow Portal because they have got all this, they can overcome the 1, 2, and 3. So
Well, actually, sorry. The main objective for someone using our services is actually number 1, because that website doesn't ship to Malaysia directly itself. So that's where they use our services. So what they would try to do is they would try to make their purchase and send to our US address. Then at the point of checkout, then they realize, oh, my payment option is being rejected, so I can't make that purchase. Then they'll raise the shop for me with us.
So you have a link to say, hey Peter, you better use this.
Yes, correct.
Really? You have a link where?
Link on our website. So when they have access to our overseas addresses, then we also have an option for the shop for me.
Times open up to the floor as well.
You mean like on the actual, like you take to the
Yeah.
website? So that's a bunch of but it's quite so the whole people.
Hi, that's really good, thank you. Just two quick questions.
Sure.
One, in international e-commerce, there's a lot of customs issues.
Yes, correct.
Who deals with customs issues? Because that can be a significant problem for the user to have to figure out the different customs issues and then custom payments. Not a lot of countries have well-established custom payments and custom problems. And a second one is weightage. Obviously, like for example, if you use Lazada, for example, that's a $5.90 charge no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? So if let's say I purchase one Google Home from America,
Right.
it's not really 1 kg,
Yes.
but yet to ship that back I have to pay the whole kg, or do you combine that with other people's shipments coming to Malaysia, so I pay a lower shipping fee?
Right, sure. So the question number one on the custom side of things, so when someone chooses to release the shipment, it's actually a door-to-door, so we handle the entire process of it. So we don't take any potential customs and duty tax upfront, but what we will advise the users is if there is any potential taxes, the item will not be held. It's purely because we've got a custom duty account with the Malaysian Customs. So if an item arrives, well, the rule of the thumb is that any item above 500 ringgit is subjected to SST, which could range anywhere between 6% to 10%. But we don't take any of this fee upfront purely because there is a list of items that is non-taxable, which changes every other week. So what happens if let's say you've bought an item worth 700 ringgit, it arrives, and then customs said, look, there's going to be a 6% charge. They will not hold the item, they will charge it to our duty account, and they'll still release the item to us. So then we'll inform you and say, hey, look, there's a 6% fee, which is not our fee, it's just a legal fee from Malaysian Customs. Once you've made the payment, then we'll proceed to sending the item to you. What it avoids is, if let's say you've had a friend in the US, they'll call you up and say, hey, look, you've got to come now to the Post Malaysia in LCCT to pay that tax and then remove it. So all that process is handled by us. Now, on the second question is, for our standard shipment, which is slightly takes from the US, it's only 76 ringgit per kg. We can get it here within 10 working days. So the smallest tier is 1 kg. For the express, then yes, we have a smaller tier of 0.5. Now, when an item arrives, let's say it's only about 0.3 of a kg, you've got two options. One, obviously saying, okay, look, I don't have any other items to buy, let me just ship it back straight away and pay for the 1 full kg, which is 76 ringgit. Or you could now go and scout for all the other items, because we have a 30 days storage time, right? So you don't need to rush to go and find the next new item. So you could take your time after a week or 2 weeks, find something else that's on sale and say, okay, look, now I'm going to buy this item and ship it back together.
So that's probably the reason why the 2 to 3 week delay is because people are trying to combine a couple of items here and there, and then they ship it to one location and say, fine, in 2 weeks I've got all my product that I want shipped today.
Potentially, yes. But what we've noticed is most of our customers, they ship, they buy items within 1 to 2 weeks, and when everything arrives, then they ship it back. And the other thing that you don't have control over is the time in which those overseas e-commerce guys ship it to you. Some of them could ship within 2 days, some of them could ship within 5 days. So then you just wait for all the items to arrive, receive our notifications, and then decide how to proceed.
Oh, just an additional question. What happens if an item or a package shipment gets lost? Okay.
Alright, so we actually have a minimum insurance amount, which is up to about 250 ringgit. But if you would like to purchase a higher valuation of the insurance, we've partnered with an insurance company. Only for 1% of the total declared value, you get full coverage. Hi.
Well, I always think that your revenue traction should be a lot better than what you have currently. And I think we sat down and we kind of talked a few times, right? Can I just go back to this problem statement that you have there?
Yes.
Can I say that that the identification of your problem statement might not have hit the bullseye, and that could have caused your revenue traction not to do as well as I expect you to? Because I thought this is a really huge market or huge problem you're solving.
Yeah, so to answer that question, what we did in 2018 was we were trying to identify the sweet spot for the users, right? So we kind of experimented with a few different methods of trying to acquire users. When we first started out, we were shouting out a lot about shipping, telling customers, hey look, ship with us, ship anything with us, you can purchase whatever you want and we ship it back. Then we realized the take-up was not that great. Once we started moving towards item-based, telling people, hey look now, you could get the Google Home Mini for only 76 ringgit or whatever the amount plus the shipment fee to getting back, then the traction started to increase. Now, what we're starting to realize is that how we can actually find that sweet spot for us to really scale is working directly with these overseas brands. We've actually engaged with most of them, and they have actually 3 pain points on why they actually have these particular issues exist. Number one, as an individual brand overseas, they don't have big enough volume to be able to find the logistics partners to send the items here. That's one on the logistics side. Secondly, on the payment option is, again, they're afraid of the fraud cases and all that. So they're looking for a partner here who will be able to help them on the payment side. And third is actually on the support. So actually now what we're doing is, on top of still acquiring and telling users, hey look, buy whatever you want and we ship it back, what we're working on is doing a direct partnership with the overseas brands that we can solve these 3 problems for them. One, our systems are connected with one another. We are able to sell, let's say an item in the US is being sold on their website for $100 US. We're actually selling it here for $100 US as well. So we're changing that behavior. We're trying to tell people, hey look, you can actually buy that particular item, same price in the US without even traveling there.
Okay, thank you. That's all the time we have for this pitch. Thank you so much.